Joseph Fares, the outspoken game developer who has worked on games like A Way Out and is currently working on his next project, It Takes Two, is unsure about Game Pass. Joseph Fares is a very outspoken developer. He says a lot of stuff. He recently criticized the naming convention about the Xbox Series console, saying that Microsoft doesn't even really understand the naming convention and they don't know what's going on. And now he's talking about Xbox Game Pass, saying that he is unsure about the subscription service in video games. Now, before we get into this any further, if you guys are new here and you enjoy what you see throughout this video, I'd really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button to help this channel grow, help grow this community so we can have some awesome conversations in the comments below. Now, here's what Joseph Fares had to say. I'm not really sure if the Netflix system will work with games. I'm not sure how that's going to work in the long term. The only thing that scares me a little bit is that if you have a system where, how do you get paid? I'm not sure. And I guess that is kind of a valid concern for developers if they're giving their games to Game Pass, where if you're a user of the service, you don't actually have to pay for that game. You just pay for the subscription to Game Pass, and then you get access to it. So you're not paying directly for it, and the developer isn't getting that direct amount of money that they previously would have got if you went to a store and bought it, and then they obviously get the percentage of whatever the breakdown is. Then he also goes on to say here, talking about shorter games, because obviously the games that he makes are more narrative driven co-op style games. They're shorter in length. He says, let's say you have a Netflix model and you get paid for the amount of time people play your game. And if you have a shorter game, a narrative game, then you obviously get less cash for that. I'm super open to playing more games, but if it affects how we make games, then we have a problem. Now, again, Joseph Fares is making these statements about his questions for Xbox Game Pass, but I think if you just take a second and you look at how Xbox Game Pass is working, what Xbox has been doing, and some of the recent exclusives such as the Medium that have entered Xbox Game Pass on day one, I think it would kind of give a better understanding of how the pricing and how these companies and developers will make money. So firstly, we look here at the Medium, and the Medium was a day one launch on Xbox Game Pass. It was about an 8 to 10 hour game, thriller, psycho thriller style of game, and it made back all of its development costs in just a few days. This says here in an interview with Polish publication Money.pl, the development studio noted that the Medium has already made back both of its developmental and marketing costs, meaning that any revenue from here on out is pure profit. And this article came out on Sunday, January 31st, 2021. The Medium was released on January 28th, so in a matter of 3 days, the Medium and Bloober already made back all of their developmental and marketing costs for this game, which was a day one Xbox exclusive on Game Pass. And I made a video previously talking about this, showing that because of the success of the Medium and the fact that this developer was already able to make back their money in such a quick amount of time, it's a story-driven narrative game. It's only about 8 to 10 hours. This is going to give confidence to other developers around the industry, showing that if they do release their game on Game Pass on day one, they're going to be able to make a profit. They're going to be able to make their money back. And a lot of this is going to have to do with obviously marketing and getting the games hyped up. I know the Medium was very hyped up, so a lot of people were into it right away. But at the same time, it's going to have to do with the business deals that Microsoft makes with the publishers and the developers of these games. And Phil Spencer's already previously talked about how developers get paid from Xbox Game Pass. So here's what he says. Our deals are, I'll say, all over the place. That sounds unmanaged, but it's really based on the developer's need. One of the things that's been cool to see is a developer, usually a smaller to mid-sized developer, might be starting a game and say, hey, they're willing to put this in Game Pass on our launch day if you guys will give us X dollars now. What we can do is we'll create a floor for them in terms of the success of their game. They know they're going to get this return. On top of that, they release their game on Game Pass, they can release it on PC, so they're going to be making money from that deal from Xbox, from Microsoft for putting it on Game Pass, and they're going to be able to make money from any other additional sales that come out on PC, on Steam and stuff like that. Or if there's games that come to Game Pass day one but are also multi-platform, they're still going to be able to make the money from the sales on other platforms. And Phil Spencer kind of reiterates that for them, they've protected themselves from any downside risk. The game is going to get made. They have all the retail upside. We have the opportunity for day and date. That would be a flat fee payment to a developer. Sometimes the developers are more done with the game and it's more just a transaction of, hey, we'll put this in Game Pass if you'll pay us this amount of money. And then finally, there's this other method that he talked about, which is agreements that have to do with usage and monetization. And the theory here is that the more your game is played on Game Pass, the more money you're going to make. And then obviously there's going to be in-game transactions and stuff like that. But this was a solution that Microsoft had come up with. And here is what he said about this. We're open to experimenting with many different partners because we don't think we have figured it out. When we started, we had a model that was all based on usage. Most of the partners said, yeah, we understand that, but we don't believe it, so just give us the money up front. So basically what that tells me is Microsoft has a variety amount of solutions when it comes to getting games to go to Game Pass, whether that is usage, whether that is an upfront fee. And if you're a smaller developer, if you're a developer that is creating 8 to 10 hour experiences like the Medium, there's still a great chance that you're going to be making all your money back with your development and your marketing. Plus, you're going to be able to make a lot more money to be profitable. And that is obviously because of the deals that Microsoft is making, the amount of money they are giving them upfront just to make sure that their game gets developed and put on Xbox Game Pass on day one. And if it's a success, you're going to obviously make more money after it's released on Xbox Game Pass. So Joseph Ferry's about how do you get paid? I mean, there's already information out there about how developers are getting paid on Game Pass. There's already previous statistics showing that these smaller games are making their money back, plus being profitable when released on Xbox Game Pass. So I really think he is just kind of being outspoken, but not looking into the other methods of stuff that has already occurred on Xbox Game Pass, not looking at the history and the data, proving that Xbox Game Pass does work for smaller games and it does work going forward based on the deal that you're making with Microsoft. Now, one of the other things I thought about is that Xbox and Microsoft are a very, very rich company, so they may be at an advantage when doing these types of things because they're going to be able to make more deals just with the fact of the amount of liquidity and cash they have. Like, I understand his concern as a developer. They want to make their money, they want to be profitable, but I don't think it's going to be an issue going forward. I think with the deals that they make, with the amount of money that they have, developers, if they put their games on Game Pass, they're well marketed, they get played, they're going to easily be profitable. And like I said, we've already seen this with the most recent day one release of the Medium. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Do you think Joseph Ferries has a valid concern about how people are going to get paid? Or do you think he's being outspoken but hasn't really done the research about the previous statistics and the previous stuff out there already showing how this works? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and you like what you see throughout this video, I would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button to help this channel grow and help grow this community. Really does mean a lot, all the support I have been getting, and it's going to be awesome just to see this channel and this community grow so we can continue to have great conversations. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.